Society and our culture has us asking some dumb questions. Questions like this one: are men or women the prize? What we should focus on is this: who is my God-given spouse? How do I prepare to serve them with everything that is within me? When both parties are doing that, that is a recipe for success. So how do we conclude this? What is the answer? Are men or women the prize? If you don't pay attention, you might miss out on your prize. I'm so sick and tired of people on social media or just in general that ask the question, are men the prize or are women the prize? In today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into this question, looking at it from both sides. In the end, you'll finally be able to answer the question, are men or women the prize? But before we do that, just want to introduce myself. My name is Jaquan, and last year I wrote a book. Oh, shoot, there it is right there. I wrote this book last year. This year, I created an 8-week program to go along with the book, helps men walk through it. Again, the book is called Preparing Men for Marriage. Definitely would like for you to check out my website, www.JaquanKennedyWrites.com. You can sign up for the program. You can also buy the book in ebook or paper format. And consider subscribing so that you don't miss a thing. Turn on those bell notifications. Stay locked in. So are men the prize? I'm going to take an approach that looks at this from a biblical standpoint. I want to take us to the book of Ruth. When you look at the book of Ruth, you'll see that if you know the story, I don't want to go too much into it, but if you know the story, Ruth's husband died. Her mother-in-law, as they traveled, she stayed with her mother-in-law. Now, both of them being widows, they traveled to a certain destination. As they got there, as life is being lived out, Ruth ends up finding a man named Boaz. Again, I'm not going into the story too deep, not trying to make this Bible study, but I want to make a few points here. Boaz was both a protector and a provider. She ended up working in his fields, okay? And while that was happening, he did what he needed to do to protect her. This was prior to him becoming her husband, okay? And so that's one thing. But he also provided for her. He provided for her before she became his wife. But obviously, because he had his own business, was established, post-marriage, he was able to do all of those things well within his rights. But this next point that I want to make is looking at Ephesians 5 to see exactly what it is that God himself has given men the responsibility for as husbands. It gets deep. When you look at Ephesians 5, okay, the Bible talks about husbands loving their wives like Christ loved the church. Doesn't matter what your religion is. I think most of us who come across Christian content, or the idea, the basis behind Christian content, is that Christ died on the cross for all of humanity. Wait a minute. Why is the Apostle Paul using this as an analogy for how men are supposed to be? I can only die one physical death. I can only jump in front of one bullet or several bullets at one time. God forbid that ever has to be the case. My point of what I'm saying is, I don't think this is a physical death that men are expected to have or to provide or to perform. I think this is more of a death that says, I'll kill my ego daily for this woman. I'll kill my selfish ambition that puts my ambition above my wife, above my family, all for the sake of success. I think that's more of what the Apostle Paul was talking about. And so let's just stop right there, because I think right there, that really boils and breaks things down. Ephesians 5 begins to talk about other things like watering our wives with the word of God. Okay, kind of giving you a garden, or nurturing, or taking care of, or providing, again, and a protection so that you don't wither away, providing so that you have all the nutrients that you need as a woman to feel loved, and all of those things, right? So it would beg to differ, or beg to settle the dispute right here, that men are the prize. Let's take a non-biblical standpoint. Men aren't desiring to be with women because of their financial acumen or their financial ability. Men are not saying, oh, I got to get with her, yo, because she make $400,000, $500,000 a year. Men aren't saying that. If that comes along with it, cool. But typically women are looking to men as providers, so they are typically looking for men to have a certain income level. Let's just be honest, ladies. You would go after a man would look more attractive if he makes $450,000 than if he makes $100,000. So are men the prize? We see it every day on social media. Women literally will aim for that. You see the interviews where women are being interviewed, and they're telling you what you must have to even be considered. So are men the prize? Well, hold on. Before you jump to that conclusion and say yes, let's be fair and let's look at the ladies. So are women the prize? Again, I want to go back to the Bible to kind of establish some points. Now, ladies, you're going to like this. You're going to like this. Fellas, if you're smart, you're going to like this as well. All right. So let's look. I got to start at the beginning, right? I say that the first documented marriage was in Genesis 2. Genesis 2, verse 18, verse 24. Let's look at that. Let's just read it so you can get my point. Okay, here we go. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him. Let's go to 24. This is after God has presented Eve to Adam. This is Adam's response. 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Wow. It can be viewed that he is clinging to his prize. The prize could be viewed as the help that God is saying man needs. Right? Let's keep going. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Let's look at Proverbs 12:4. Let's read it. Okay. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that makes ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. A virtuous and excellent wife, worthy of honor, is the crown of her husband. But she who shames him with her foolishness is like rottenness in his bones. Wow, man. To be crowned something is almost like a prize. Literally, in my crown, I'm crowned because of my wife, if she's excellent and virtuous. Wow. Let's head on over to Proverbs 18. Let's read it. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. That's not it. And obtains favor and approval from the Lord. Wow. So I not only gain a wife, maybe the prize, but I also get favor from God, which could be viewed as a bonus. I got two more, and I'm going to make my point there. Let's look at Proverbs 19:14. Let's read it. House and wealth are the inheritance from fathers. Maybe something you can look at as a prize. But a wise, understanding, and sensible wife is a gift and blessing from the Lord. Wow. Wow. This is compelling. It's really compelling for the women. It's really compelling for the women. I think it was compelling for the men as well. But wow. One more. Proverbs 31. Many of us may be familiar with this. And there's so much to read. And this is literally, I think, from like 10 all the way down to the end of the chapter. Let's read a few things. Proverbs 31. So this goes back to some of the other things that we've read in Proverbs. I think 12, 18, and 19, where it talks about excellent. An excellent woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Talks about virtuous too. Who is he who can find her? Watch this. Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far above rubies or pearls. Watch this. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he with secure confidence, and he will have no lack of gain. Watch this. She comforts, encourages, and does him only good, not evil, all the days of her life. She brings her household's food from far away. She also rises while it is still night and gives food to her household and assigns tasks to her maids. Watch this. She considers a field before she buys or accepts it. With her profits, she plants fruitful vines in her vineyard. She equips herself with strength, spiritual, mental, and physical fitness for her God-given task, and makes her arms strong. She opens and extends her hands to the poor. She reaches out her filled hands to the needy. Watch this. Her husband is known in the city's gates when he sits amongst the elders of the land. She opens her mouth in skillful and godly wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to how things go in her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her, saying, here we go. Many daughters have done nobly and well with the strength and character that is steadfast in goodness, but you excel them all. Charm and grace are deceptive, and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, that is reverently worshiping, obeying, serving, and trusting him as in God, with all filled respect, she will be praised. Wow. Maybe I could have done more on the man's side. Maybe I could have said more. I think we've really covered women in this question of, are men or women the prize? What do you think so far? I think as far as a man goes, we're known to be providers. We're known to be protectors. But we're known to be lovers according to the Bible. You really have to dig into the 2 chapters in my book that talk about love. How to love God's way and understanding love. Loving God's way is understanding that it is a very high standard just for loving whoever you see. Christian, non-Christian, boy, girl, man, woman, elderly, baby, my enemy. But then there's an elevated love, and that's the love we need to understand as men of how to love our wife. Go ahead and read Ephesians 5. It gives you the full breakdown of what God expects men to do regarding loving their wives. And furthermore, that not loving our wives, not honoring them, hinders our prayers. But what else could you do? What is the ultimate sacrifice that you could do as a man other than dying for your spouse. I don't think you can do anything else. So a woman who finds a man who's willing to fit that role, is he not the prize? And then for the ladies, we just read so many scriptures that talk about the benefit to having a wife. The prize, if you will, what she affords him. I want to break something down, though. Don't leave yet. Don't click off yet. You will miss it if you click off. Don't click off yet. Society and our culture has us asking some dumb questions. What do you mean dumb? Questions like this one: are men or women the prize? Or even questions like, what do you bring to the table? I think they're all the wrong questions. Different video for a different day. But if you're so concerned with what I bring to the table, what that looks like is dump all of everything that's of value on the table. Let me sift through it and I'll tell you if you're good enough. I don't subscribe to that. So again, we ask dumb questions. What we should focus on is this: who is my God-given spouse? How do I prepare to serve them with everything that is within me for the rest of my life? When both parties are doing that, that is a recipe for success. So how do we conclude this? What is the answer? Are men or women the prize? Both are. If both are maximizing who they are as an individual and who they should be as a spouse. So when you go back and look at some of the examples I gave for men, that's a type of man. Not all men are that way. They have to fashion themselves and build themselves to be that kind of way. I think it's easy for us to be providers. Most men, you have an idea that I got to take care of myself, so I'm going to strive to accumulate as much as I can so that I can do that. Okay, I'm going to try to maximize my financial capability. Obviously, we know not all men are that way, okay? But again, it's a type of man. It's a type of man who says he wants to be a protector, not just with these, not just that you can knock somebody out if you feel like, your family is being threatened in any form of fashion, their safety or security. But I can protect you emotionally. I can protect you physically. I can protect you spiritually. That just goes so much more than just a physicalness. And then there is a type of man, a husband, who loves like God says, and he'll die for you. That's not your average guy walking down the street. So I think we need to be careful and understand that it's a type of man, just like it's a type of woman, a virtuous and excellent woman. When we read Proverbs 12:4, there was a contrast. There was a woman who was this way, but then there was a woman that was rottenness to his bones. Because there's a choice. So maybe what I'm saying is, are you making a choice to be a prize to that man, to that husband? Are you making a choice to be a prize to that woman, to that wife? That's the question we should be asking. Because at the end of the day, both the man and the woman, in the context of a husband and a wife, are the prize. So I'll leave you with this question. Can we start focusing on maximizing our ability to be a prize to our spouse for the rest of our lives and settling it there? Listen, guys, you've made it to the end of this video. I am asking that you go ahead and subscribe. You made it this far. If marriage-based content, particularly preparing men for marriage and talking about culture and how we view it wrong and how we can fix that so that you can properly prepare for marriage. If that type of content brings value to you, subscribe, like, share. Listen, lastly, in case you missed it, I want to just reiterate, this book was written last year. I've also created an 8-week program for it as well. My website is where you can get the book. It's also where you can sign up for the program, www.JaquanKennedyWrites.com. I look forward to connecting with you in the future so that we can prepare you for marriage. Take care.